Greetings, meatbags. We noticed Potato was on and figured, hey, what the hell? Let's see what he's up to. Well, if you've been watching this series, you'll know that we have been comparing him to Cyraxx. If you haven't, now you know.
We were surprised to find Timbo giving his view of the Raxxo situation, and it was pure, well, here, let's let him say it himself. After we explain that he appears to be on a Discord voice chat with Dim Thule and another would-be spud. Looks like an op to us, but hey, each to their own, right? Anyway, here's Timbo's view of what happens to Raxxo.
Okay. Take Cyraxx for an example. In the middle, so if you remove Cyraxx as a physical object, right, and you remove all the people as physical objects, and you just have blackness, right, and you see this in your inner eye, then you see the mud that they pick up and throw at Cyraxx, right? So you just see the mud, and you just see.
Or do they tell the truth about him? You know what I mean? Like,
right, but so just follow my logic here,
yeah,
right? So they take their hands and put it in a metaphorical soil, and they throw it at him. Doesn't matter if it's truth or lie, right? But their hands.
Gonna stop you right there, Timbo. Yes, you heard him correctly. Doesn't matter if what we say about Raxxo is true. It's mudslinging. The truth is not mud, Tim. Calling Raxxo a sicko is shining a light on someone who needs to be watched. For the sake of potential victims, this right here is a major part of your malfunction. And Raxxo's too. There are some things that can never be forgotten or moved on from. There is no such thing as a fresh start in cases like his. Or yours.
Or now they has mud on the hands. Right, so you don't see anything, but you can see the mud sticking to the invisible hand, right? And you can see the mud forming Cyraxx as a mud dweller, right? But underneath that mud, it doesn't really say much about who he is, right? But this is then the device then gets born over Cyraxx's head. And that's basically themselves, for every clot of mud they throw, even if it's truth or not. That judgment is a tethering to that device that they all give life to over time. So all that mud gets stored in a metaphorical device, right? Which people get entangled. That entanglement, those chains becomes tethered to that metaphorical box, that moon device. So all the combined stories and all the everything, all the wrangled shadows, all the mud tossing, all of that goes into the shadow and becomes shadows and wrangled shadows and extra wrangled shadows that become, you know, because you're looking for a reaction, right? Which then, and then the reaction feeds off a reaction that then, because those reactions would not be normal, right? And then they wrangle that, you see what I'm saying? And then all of that, all those, whether they throw mud or they're being thrown at, they all tether themselves to the device that becomes a metaphorical device that just grows over time, you see? So we've been...
Yeah, it just grows,
right.
expands.
So I've just been talking about that and, you know, kind of make it into a so you can see it in your mind's eye what's going on, right? So you could visualize it. And that's basically all I've done, you know, say that there's this moon device. So when I say moon device, it's like a bigger family of devices. Does that make sense? So when I say moon device, it's not just Cyraxx's device, it's a device of 10,000 people.
Oh, Timbo, we see what you're trying to do here. You don't think Meaty Me's past should be held against him by talking about the screwed up shit he's done. We are feeding this metaphorical device that binds us all together. That concept is a ridiculous and obvious attempt at setting a framework to get yourself off the hook, too.
Right. If we bought that shit, then it would be a simple matter to use the very same argument to escape your trolls. We're just not that dumb, Timbo. Please give us a bit more credit than that. You love to say how people look at things the wrong way, and it's clear why. You look at things the wrong way, especially if you see the actual truth as mud. If you are trying to make the truth look bad, you're definitely not doing life correctly.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, they're all involved, you know.
Yeah. So it's quite a... So you can't really say that device is evil, but I would say that there's a certain cautionary warning to anyone that should seek out the device, right? That they truly get
It's
tethered.
a tool, right? It's just a tool, right?
Right, it's
not,
right. It does nothing if you don't.
It can't be evil. It just collects.
Right,
It just collects mud.
but it's very much like a gun. You know, if you use it, something's gonna happen, and your fingerprints are gonna be on the trigger of like. So the device is, in that sense, if one peers into the device or uses it or anything like this, then one instantly gets tethered to the device.
Let us make a counter-proposal. What if there is no device, and Raxxo is just a talentless sicko with delusions of grandeur? In that case, his best option would be to get the hell off of the internet. Because not only is he talentless, even if he had a skill, he'd still be banished for being a sicko. People throw the light of truth on him to prevent him from growing in the dark. Like mold or mildew? Not all growth is positive, Timbo, and you appear to desperately want the same darkness to grow in. Think again. Oh, and to keep things in full context, here's a little bit about how real or unreal the device is.
You cannot hold the device in your hand, so it's
in mind.
it's
Okay.
yeah, exactly. It's a metaphorical
Okay.
device.
All
So, but the device is real. So think of it like
Right.
this: when you hold the device,
Okay.
it steals your shadow. So like, think of it
Whatever
this
you
way.
thought.
Yeah,
It's just-
if somebody, I can explain it with Cyraxx, for instance.
That was about as clear as mud. It's a metaphorical device that can't be held, but is also real, and when held in the hand, something happens. If you seriously think this makes sense, Timbo, you are locked in the grip of powerful insanity. Something cannot be metaphorically real. Either it is real or it isn't. As much as you try to blur the lines, it's clear you think it's real. At least on some level. Otherwise, why the double talk? Food for thought, Timbo. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this one. We considered merging in the news from Marty's stream last night, but that seemed like a bait and switch. So look for that video soon. We may hold off publishing it, depending on any potential Marty stream.